One of the metrics I'll use for how often I should be water changing will be when I use the gravel cleaner, like how dirty is my water. So that water that I'm pulling out is definitely dirty, but it really isn't that bad. So improving the water changes would be a little bit good, but all in all, it's actually going pretty well. You're using medias like polyfilter and activated carbon that are beautiful for polishing up the water. Make sure you don't go using algae eliminators or any medications while you're treating the water with a polisher. Otherwise, they do just get removed. Fish quality is 50% water quality, so it's really important that you have a very easy and effective way of testing your water. Otherwise, bring it to your local aquarium shop and let them do it for you. And then the quality of your food is the other key. So very good quality water and a regular testing routine. We'll see if your maintenance routine is serving your fish. And the key to aquariums is consistency. It's much better to do small regular cleans than to go and do one big mega service. So Oscars are getting along very well, which is nice. So I just want to keep a little bit of an eye on the temperature. So I've just done a water change and it looks like we're running around 23 degrees. Now, because I'm putting water in the tank after a water change, it sort of doesn't surprise me too much. It's pretty cool here in sort of going into winter, but I sort of would rather the tank be running at sort of 24 minimum. So if we can just keep an eye on the temperature and just make sure that it's stabilizing, more like around 25 is better. Otherwise, we will not need to turn that up. So I've had the heater off because the heater's inside the filter. The filter is running nicely. The filter's all clean. So I've just checked the temperature and it's on the cool side. But considering I just did a water change, I think that would be pretty normal. But if we can just keep an eye on the temperature and keep it more like 25, 26, then I'd be quite happy. Just get that monitored and it'll be all good. That's why it's very important to not trust your heater. So the heater will say 26 because that's obviously what it's heating at, but the thermometer is saying a little bit cooler. So it's really important to cross-check those things. And that's why you really want to have a heater a thermometer that you can see and you can check. Gives you a chance to fix those things. Otherwise, you might end up with white spot. White spot is the most likely problem if the tank is running a little bit cold. Just need to keep an eye on this top because you've got no idea how easy it is to forget when you're topping up a tank. And nobody likes a flood, especially when you're not paying attention. Looking at these fish, you would think that the water is perfect because the water clarity is great, and you know what? The quality of the food is the secret, because these fish are running a pH of around 7, so a little bit on the low side for some of these fish, and a KH of around 2, which is definitely too low. Now, many tanks with African cichlids that run this water quality, often the fish get sick. But I do find when you're feeding very high quality foods that it makes a big difference. So these fish look very healthy, even though the water quality is not ideal. So what needs to happen now is I'm going to pour a little bit of KH into the water. And what we don't want to do is go silly with it, because the worst thing that we want to do is go tipping too much in and then shock the fish. And then instead of trying to fix the water, we end up with dead fish. So what I'm going to do is just tip a little bit of this in. So I just tipped a bit of KH in. Then we really want to test the water in the next couple of days using our test kit. And then we want to add a little bit more. So we'd rather do small, regular amounts and slowly raise it. Because I'd rather the pH more like 7.4 or 7.6. And I would rather the KH more like 6 or even 8. So right now it's definitely running too acidic. And that's very common because the fish's waste, carbonic waste, metabolic waste, all makes the water more acidic. So what I'm going to need to ask is if the pH and KH can be checked in a few days, then tip a little bit more of this in, then test the pH and KH again. Hopefully it's improved a little bit, and then add a little bit more of this. I've also noticed that there's no electric yellows in this aquarium. I'm sure there was, so I'd like to know what happened to the electric yellow. And I'd like to propose that this tank doesn't need more fish, but I'm going to suggest it does need electric yellow. I think it should be illegal to have a cichlid tank without electric yellow. What do you reckon?